Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome. Let's talk frequency today. I love this topic. So, we are in the midst of a powerful global transformation right now. Call it what you will. It might be like a dark night of the soul, collective experience, a collective spiritual crises. There's all kinds of different terms going on around right now, a global awakening that is happening. I'd love to know what terms you have been using for this and how you understand what is taking place on the planet right now. In any case, there is something transformative taking place, meaning there is a shift from how things were to how things are going to be, and we are in the thick of it right now. We are in an unfolding process, and in a transformative process, where we end up is something different, remarkably different from where we have been. And this is what we are seeing playing out on the planet at this time. The lifestyle, the way that we collectively as a species on this planet have been going hasn't been sustainable. Things haven't been going great, and then everything shut down and everything stopped, and now we're in this thick of what comes next. How do we move out of this stuckness, this incarnation, this divisiveness that is taking place on the planet right now into where we go next? And it could go in many different directions. So we are transforming. I hope that we are awakening to a more enlightened way of being, a more grounded way of being, a more mature, a more spiritually mature way of being, particularly as this species that we are. Because if we don't make a change in a better direction, we might not be on this beautiful planet for much longer. So, all that said, and I guess why I ascribe to and really feel into and have hope that this awakening is happening is what I see coming out of people right now through this shift and this transformation are keywords like truth and freedom. These are words that are going around right now that are in the collective sphere, and they are playing an important role in terms of what happens now and where we go next. So in the midst of that backdrop that is taking place, that sets the scene, that sets the stage for life and the characters. You, me, those we know, those we love, we are all the characters that take place. We have a role. We all have a role to play on the great stage of what is happening and unfolding at this moment. May we not forget that we each have a role to play. And as you play your role in that, and I'd love to know what you feel your role is, what you know your role to be in this unfolding right now, hit me up in the comments with all of these things as I pop these questions to you. And if something comes, I always love to hear where you guys are at with these things. As we move through these times and this plays out, and we have a role to play, a question that we must answer at some point, something that we live into, an invitation for you is, what frequency are you vibing at? What station are you tuned into, right? We are like little radios in many ways, yes? This is a nice, easy way to understand frequency and vibes and tuning and consciousness. Think of each person like a little radio, little packet radio, yeah? And there are waves, there are different frequencies, there are different waves that our physical eyes cannot see in the world. Yeah, maybe if you've had some special experiences, you have ability to see other things that normally the five senses cannot pick up. So the regular five sense eyes cannot see frequencies. Yeah, we can feel them, we can experience them, and this wonderful little gadget that we call the radio, we just turn a few knobs. Remember those old radios? Did you ever used to listen to a radio? I don't know who listens to radios anymore, but I still try to every now and then. But the way the radio works is we would tap it, we would put the antenna up, right? And we would dial in to a frequency, and we would find the station, the frequency that plays what we wanted to hear, that is something pleasing or amusing or entertaining or interesting for the mind to engage itself with. Now, in many ways, we humans are like these radio stations, and we have the ability to tune in, to, tune our little frequencies, our little knobs into the different vibes that are out there. So what are these vibes that are out there? Well, there are infinite forms of vibrations and frequencies available to us when we tune into them. You can think of them like different radio stations. And so the question I have for you is, what is yours? What is yours that you are tuned into? Are you tuned in to a frequency of love, as I know many people are, because that's such a great radio station to be tuned into, isn't it? It's such a juicy, delicious vibe to be in. And once you tune into a station like love, you allow yourself to be infused in it. You live your life from that space. You open your eyes as a being in love, through love, right? So gorgeous, gorgeous space to be in. Maybe yours is the station of peace, right? Maybe you just want to be chill. You want to be peace. You want everything just, no big waves, no big emotions, no big waves, just calmness, steady, stillness, infinite stillness, right? Maybe that is more your space, your zone. Maybe your station is fun, right? Maybe you want to go out there and just have a great time and live from that space of lightness, of pure child, of innocence, of, freshness in each unfolding moment that is. It is so light and playful within that space. So what are you tuned into? And this is such a key question for these transformative times. Remember the stage where everything is playing out? Because if we are not conscious of the station that we are dialed into, and if we are not consciously dialing in, living from that space, and as a practice, as a dedicated practice of living in that zone, then what can happen is our consciousness, our frequency can be hijacked, right? Because there are many dynamics playing out. There are many powerful dynamics and stories and rabbit holes playing out that our attention will want to go into if we are not careful of what is going on. And it's okay to go down different directions. And, what is good practice is to hold an awareness if you are going down a particular direction, to be aware of what you are doing, right? To hold awareness, no judgment, right? No punishment of self for certain things, no extra voice on top of that saying, don't do that, shouldn't do that, but an awareness of this is what is taking place at this time. This is where my attention is going. This is what I am engaged in at this point in time. And so there are, as I mentioned, many different frequencies. As you would know at this time, there is the frequency of, I'm just turning the radio off altogether because I don't want a bar of it. There is a frequency of anger going on. There is a whole heap of pain happening right now, right? So there are frustrations, accusations, divisions, right? It's very easy right now to jump onto a frequency that is, very fight mode about things, because in many ways this can feel like we are in a global war, right? Whether it is on the level of spirit and consciousness, whether it is of minds, whether it is of hearts, whether it is of bodies, and science, and what that actually means, right? There are so many different layers on where all of this is playing out right now. So holding an awareness of the station that you are tuned into, the vibe, the frequency that you are tuned into. Because when you do that, it gives you the ability to check yourself, right? How am I being in this moment, in all the midst of this crazy larger transformation that is taking place? Have that self-awareness, and also be, as I love to call them, an agent of awesome, holding those frequencies that you know to exist through your experiences of awe, your spiritual experiences, those experiences that have expanded you, right? To understand things like love, compassion, kindness, calmness, whatever it might be in that space, the nothingness, the isness, right? to know those frequencies, to tap into those frequencies, and to continually attune oneself, to check oneself and attune oneself to be in resonance with those tones. Shift if you want, you know, and to be aware of and tune into those tones so that we can live from this space and be in the moment as we are and act accordingly and respond accordingly from that place. Because then we become very powerful pockets of consciousness within whatever thing is taking place larger on the larger scale right now. You will have perhaps heard of those studies where, you know, groups of people come and meditate together. It's happened in some cities, and it's actually brought down the crime rate in that time that those people were doing a sustained meditation, right? So we know that collective consciousness plays a role in the collective. That's why it's the collective consciousness, right? Now, whether we are aware of that or not, or whether we're being played out, again, being aware of yourself, your mind, where your mind is directing you, your consciousness and your energy and your frequency, right? Being aware of those things makes you more of an active, conscious, awake, alive, aware person, yeah? So, and then, of course, you get to play the game in terms of how that collective consciousness is coming together and how you are contributing to that. So I'll leave it there for the day. Let me know, what station are you tuned into? What is it like for you there? What do you see from that space? And if you have any help or tidbits or advice for people on how to be in that zone if they want to live more in that space, of course, feel free to share that as well. It's always great to hear your learning experiences and wisdom along the way, because it takes all sorts. Much love, vibe well, see you soon.